Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch. Who else? Who else would be here on Saturday morning? But me and the Mitch Fits. Good to see you. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch, my friends. You know the drill. Drink it if you got it. Ah, yes. Yes, yes, yes. People are coming in. We're awake. As you can see, I am dressed warm. What's the old saying? The frost is on the pumpkin. It's a little warmer today than yesterday, but my heater is still coming on. I heat my house to 68 degrees, which is freezing for me, freezing, but that's as much as I want to spend on heating it, so I always have the option of dressing warm. I know a lot of people, 68 is warm. But living in Florida means that your internal thermostat is wacko most of the time. The hot weather doesn't bother me at all. But it's a gorgeous morning. At least the sun is shining outside. I would have done this from outside this morning. It was doable, but the plumbers are coming. The plumbers are supposed to come and actually get done finito today with buttoning up all the insulation under my house that they had to take down in order to get to all the pipes. What a job, what a mess. And the plumbing has been working. It's been so wonderful not to have to worry about leaks. And today they're going to come and finish. And I didn't want to be doing my live stream outside with plumbers running back and forth behind me. I'm hoping tomorrow morning will be nice enough to do it out there. I enjoy doing it out there a hell of a lot more. Yeah, it's a little more work. Got to set up all the equipment, everything, but I know it may not seem like a lot, but just being able to, during this live stream, say to you, my friends, excuse me while I light my cigar and play a little of this. So let's start the day with some happy music. And let's see if we can keep it positive today and helpful. And not forget the reason that we're here. Something that is easy to forget sometimes. I forget it sometimes as I get caught up in all the drama in the world and in the carnivore and ketovore and low carb and all the different eating regimen communities that we have here, each one extolling its own virtues and telling everybody that's eating differently why they should be worried and they need to change. And there are no shortage of opinions, me included. Wow, I see people are coming in here. It was got off to a slow start in the pre-chat. I was wondering, where's everybody this morning? The first comment this morning, the first one, was from Wayne Herman. I don't know if YouTube lost the ones from, if there were last night. I put this up at like 9 o'clock last night, and nobody chimed in until 6:10 a.m. So where were the insomniacs last night? Maybe we all got a good night's sleep. I did. I got a great night's sleep last night. I was in bed at 9 o'clock. and got out of bed at 6, just a little after 6 this morning. And I think I woke up once during the night, but other than that, slept straight through. I'm feeling 1,000% better. Thanks so much for all the good wishes to get well soon. I feel like I'm almost done with the runny nose and with a little bit of coughing. I may still have a little phlegm going on, but still haven't taken any over-the-counter stuff for it, just trying to let it run its course. And knock on wood, I think I'm over it. I'm over it. I think I may even go for a walk after this. It'll be about 70 degrees outside. It'll be very nice. I might take my camera along. Walk and talk. I like doing those things. I haven't been doing much. I've been actually on YouTube vacation almost ever since I got back from that meetup in Tampa and got sick. Haven't been making many videos. Things have been slow on the channel, but I have been doing the morning live streams, except for the one morning that I missed. And as my energy comes back, I think I'll ramp it up again. Why not? Why not? So much to talk about. So little time. Anyway, good morning, Wayne. Cliff chimed in this morning, too. Good to see you. And Mike Seeley from Tampa chimed in. Lynn Gerber, good morning to you from Deerfield Beach. Patty Molden was here about 8 o'clock. Smoothie 420 says, good morning, everybody. Mike Seeley Sr. rolled in here about 20 after 8. Francine Bourgeois. Hi, Francine. Good morning from sunny Montreal. I'll bet you it's still a little chilly up there. Thank you for the hot coffee. Francine. Bryce Hatch from sunny Arizona. I like that. Sounds like it's sunny in more places than not today. That's great. And wow, hard to believe. What is today? The 22nd. 22nd of February already. Where it was just New Year's Eve like 5 minutes ago. Where the hell has the time gone? It's almost March already. Holy cow. Wow. Harry Dion. Good morning, Harry, from Northern CA. It's either Canada or California or somewhere. Good morning to you. And Brooke is here. Hi, Brooke. Haven't seen you in a little while. Spiritual Nomad, good morning to you. Tammy Pitarch says good morning, and even me. I said good morning. Terry Sue, good morning, Mitch, and all the butter spreaders. Terry Sue always comes up with names to call us that fit into the carnivore genre. CB, good morning. Off today. Yeah, good to hear that. Having some bacon eggs because it's one of my favorite meals. It has become one of my favorite meals, too. Hard to believe. Hard to believe that the traditional, as they call it, heart attack breakfast would become our favorite meal and promote good health. I still think it's one of the healthiest things we can eat. I think eggs are just nature's little vitamin pills. Everything we need is in there. We have been scared off of eggs by so many years of misinformation about cholesterol, and that still reigns as common public opinion, unfortunately. Steve Studley says, good morning, Mitch. Good morning, Steve. We are at 9:25. Lori chimed in. And Steve Studley again, pass the butter and the salt. Still on that search, on that quest. Claudia Burkick. Good morning, Claudia. How are you? And Tina's here. Good to see you, Tina. Da, da, da. Steve Rogers, superhero in the house, Captain America. Good morning, Steve. How are you, man? How's everything in Kansas City? Good to see you. Terry Sue says, I'm not hungry this morning. I think my steroid food driver has finally shut off. I don't know what you mean by that, but I'm not hungry this morning either. I don't think many of us really get hungry. It'd be a nice little survey to take in the chat maybe this morning is how many people skip breakfast? I call it breakfast when I eat it at 11, 12 o'clock when I have my bacon and eggs, but because I'm breaking the fast. But I'm just not hungry in the morning, and I sometimes wonder whether it would be better to move my whole eating window up by maybe 2 or 3 hours. It'd be hard to do doing these morning live streams for me, but I generally now eat my first meal as soon as I'm finished here, usually around 11 a.m. or shortly after 11. I usually go right in and cook my first meal because I don't want to eat too late in the day. We talked about that yesterday, about sleeping, and about how I think one of the best ways to get a good night's sleep is to not have to be digesting food at the same time. Goes against what many cultures do. So many cultures eat late, especially some of the South American. In Brazil, the normal time for their evening meal is between 10 and midnight. I learned that the first time I went to a Brazilian steakhouse years and years ago in Miami. I couldn't believe all the people that were in there eating at 11 o'clock at night. And I said, is this normal? Oh, yeah. Brazilians, how do they do that? How do they load up on that much food and then go to bed and then go right to bed? I don't get it. I can't do it. I do much better on an empty stomach. Try to get done eating by 4 o'clock at the latest. Sometimes it stretches to 5 if I get a late start and maybe don't eat my first meal of the day until, say, 1 o'clock. But I conscientiously try to eat earlier in the morning. Seems to help me. I never feel stuffed, never feel bloated. Works great. And I'm looking for the first at 9:30, Terry Sue at 9:29. And hey, Jerry Voitush, good morning, man. How are you? Good to see you here this morning from Ponte Vedra Beach up near Jacksonville, Florida. And Aaron Booby Goats is here. And the winner this morning, ding, 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 is Lady June, right on the money at 9:30. Congratulations. Wear your victory with pride throughout the day. And followed like milliseconds later, Gary Noslow. How you doing, Gary? Good to see you. Marla Kelly chimed in at 9:30. Edward Renner. Tanya's here. Hiya. Tanya says, here we go. Where are we going? Yeah, but we're going. Here we go. Mike Seeley, he also chimed in at 9:30. And Robert Warrist, how you doing, Robert? Good morning to you at 9:30. And Jerry Graham chimed in. Papa Carnivore, it's showtime. Hiya, Peter. Certainly is. And Tuka, good morning, Tuka. How you doing? And I noticed a little super sticker go by Tuka a little earlier, and I'll get to that when I get to it in the chat. But thank you so much, my friend. Always appreciate those things. Terry Sue, yay, I needed this stretch music. Well, go have at it. Stretch. Yes, you guys want music, just say the word. I always got music. I got all kinds of music here. Hopefully it's not copyrighted. Tuka says, hope you're all having this blessed Saturday. Yes, it is Saturday, my friends, and I bet most of you are taking the day off, whether I give it to you or not. That's good. That's good. Danny in Boston, still at 9:30, says, good morning, everybody. Steve Studley chimed back in at 9:30. Play it loud, play it proud. Yes. Yes, very something you just don't hear on any other carnivore YouTube channel. I'm serious. No music. What the hell's wrong with these people? Doesn't anybody like music out there? I mean, I'm serious. I keep looking for anybody having some kind of an intro, outro, musical interlude, dance part, anything. Yes, it's a serious subject, but for God's sakes, lighten up. Come on, people. I want to hear some music. I want you to get copyright strikes like I do. Why should I be the only one? And Sandy Blythe at 9:30. We're still at 9:30. Holy cow, look at all of this. And Tuca rounds up the 9:30 minute. Saying good morning to Danny. And Mike Allen was the first one in at 9:31, starting the show. Good to see you all. Followed up by Bob Black. Let me say hi to a few of these initial early arrivals. Terry Sue is back. Steve Studley, Danny in Boston. Graceful Lily says, good morning, Mitch and fellow Mitch Fits. Tuca says, do we hear a Mitch rant today? I don't know if I'm in the mood to really rant today. I've been doing too much ranting. I watch the replay of all my live streams for a number of reasons, but I watch primarily to critique myself. And I'm my hardest critic, and I can go negative on so many things that I find in this world really so absurd. And I have no problem drifting into one of these little rants. And it's obvious that I mean what I'm saying. You can tell just by my tone of voice and things. Trying to make some sense out of the lunacy and mayhem that I hear everywhere about everything. It's not just diet, especially in politics. Sometimes I say to myself, Mitch, and I say, what? And I say, Mitch, why do you get so cynical? And I say, how can you not be on this planet for as many years as I have and see man's inhumanity to man and not be cynical and distrust almost everything? They call a lot of people like us conspiracy theorists. And it's easy to see these conspiracies everywhere. But they turn out not to be conspiracies. Every single one of them that we've been called a conspiracy theorist, turns out we were talking the truth. So how can you not become a little cynical? And I don't want to do that. I want this, and I did make some show notes today, and one of the things I put in my show notes today was, wow, isn't that a nice little surprise? Jerry Voitush bought me a coffee. Thank you so much, Jerry. He says, glad you are feeling better. Glad you are getting better. Thanks so much, Jerry. I appreciate that. Appreciate that very, very much. Pleasant surprise. At any rate, ask me questions today. Ask me questions about concerns that you have. I want you to think about the things about our lifestyle, about carnivore, that still give you a little pause, a little worry where you say, is this really that good for me? I mean, the whole entire world thinks I'm an idiot and that I'm killing myself. wants to hook me up to every kind of machine known to man so they can prove to me that according to their rules and their standards and their practices of medicine, that I'm clogging up my arteries and headed for an imminent heart attack, because how could I live, stay alive, climb out of bed each day with an LDL as screaming high as mine? How could that be? And how do I not worry about it? And what am I going to do about it? I ask myself. What am I going to do about it? And do I need to do anything about it? And in fact, if I do anything about it, am I sabotaging myself and the benefits that I've gained from this lifestyle? And I still think about stuff like that. With all that I know, with all that I've discovered, with all the proof that I have, with all of the knowledge about how this whole cholesterol fraud started, with all of that surety in my mind, there's always that little nagging thing going on. And I wonder how many of you worry about that same thing, or you've convinced yourself that they are all so wrong that anything that we might, any of their advice that we might follow, eat more carbs, they say. We know that eating carbs lowers cholesterol. That was the whole big sales pitch behind breakfast cereals and Cheerios. Heart healthy, remember, all over the box. Nothing but grain, sugars, and seed oils, but heart healthy. Lowers cholesterol. A big win for the medical community. And you go into your doctor and you've been cramming yourself full of fiber. Your gut is destroyed. You've got diverticulosis. You're fighting Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. You have all of these debilitating autoimmune conditions. You're getting fat as a house. You're getting sore from jabbing yourself with insulin all the time to counteract all the sugar you're eating. And I've become a diabetic, a type 2 diabetic. Every joint in your body hurts. You got rashes all over you. You got eczema, psoriasis. You can't think clearly when you get out of bed. But your doctor, who kind of looks a lot like you know, including all the nurses and everybody else working in that hospital, they're all sick, fat, obese, unhealthy looking people, unless they're 25 years old, in which case they haven't had time yet for all that poisoning to work. Those people are telling you your numbers look great, don't they? Look at your cholesterol. Your total cholesterol is 80. We're so proud of you. They write you refills for your 15 different prescriptions and send you on your merry way. And you're so happy you got a good grade at school today. That's what it's like out there. So here we come, and here I come with an LDL this year of about 450. My doctor has a heart attack. I'm glad she's having my heart attack, because I'm not having my heart attack. And they keep sowing this doubt in your mind. Well, what do I need to do about it? What would you suggest I do to fix this fabulous health that I'm experiencing? This being thin, having energy, having a clear mind, having had all of my diseases and everything go away. And the only thing that you think is wrong with me is I have high LDL, and you want me to try to fix that. What would you have me do? And their answer, of course, immediately go on a high-dose statin or PCSK9 inhibitor to lower that cholesterol. Stop eating fat. Stop eating so much meat. Start eating healthy. Whole grains, fruits, vegetables. Drink your orange juice. Eat your Special K with skim milk. And a toaster pastry for dessert. And we'll fix you. You'll fix me, all right. You'll fix me right back into... Let me show you a picture. Let me show you a picture here. You've seen this picture. You've seen this picture. Remember this picture? Look at the background in both of those pictures of me. Does that look familiar? The reason it looks familiar is because the picture on the right is me 5 years ago doing a drone live stream from my studio with the same background. The picture on the left, and yes, I look older. I'm 5 years older in that picture. There are people who say, you looked so much healthier and younger on the right, Mitch. Look at you. You didn't look as old. Look at my face, for God's sakes. This was before I had my brain surgery. This is before I hurt myself. This is when I was trying to do keto and failing and going up and down. In that picture, I probably weighed 180 to 90 pounds. Look at the difference. Still me. Still me. In the picture on the left, my beard is a little bit grayer. I'm older. I'm older. But look at the shape of my face. And now look at me now. Do I want to go back to that? Do I want to look like that again? Do I want to have a gut that's so screwed up I'm constipated all the time? Do I want to have my elbows covered with eczema again? Do I want to have rheumatoid arthritis so bad that there were times when I had attacks that I couldn't tie my shoes? That's what I would have to do to lower my LDL back. And even then, and even back then, they told me that it was high. It was high. And I needed to be on a statin. I've heard that ever since I was 35 years old. I think when they first invented statins, I think the first dose that they had that came out of the factory, somebody had probably pre-decided and put the name Mitch on the outside of the box. It's crazy. It's nuts. At any rate, I excuse me, I saw that picture this morning and I said, wow, wow, wow. And I don't have a lot of old pictures of me. I don't have a lot of old pictures of me because I was ashamed to take pictures. I was ashamed to take pictures back then. And I don't, I have this picture. I have this picture of me and my son. That picture was taken 1980, 85, 40 years ago maybe. My son is 54 years old now. He was in college in this picture. So this is probably 35, 40 years ago. This is when I had my little computer company, just getting it started way back when. And he while he was in college, he worked for me. My son worked for me in the computer business. And this right here was pretty much my typical body shape my whole life. I probably weighed 170, 175 there. You see my son kind of follows right in my footsteps with the same body shape. I was much younger, not very athletic. I always said I looked like the Pillsbury Doughboy. Had the round, always had the round face. And that was the story of my life, up and down for 50 years. Up and down for 50 years. I show you these things because I think maybe I look at these things to convince myself that, no, what I'm doing is not dangerous, that I have never felt better in my life, almost 78 years old. And I just, that's what I got here. I keep thinking every morning before I start this live stream, what the hell am I going to talk about today? When your philosophy of this whole lifestyle is don't overcomplicate it, don't micromanage it, don't sweat the small stuff. Keep it simple, stupid. It's very hard to keep coming up. It would be like having a newscast and every day ignoring anything new that happens because it just overcomplicates things. I try to keep it very simple, you know that. And the purpose of our little meetings here is just to get together, be among people that are lunatics like we are, according to society, and reassure ourselves every day. And it's not just for you, it's for me. I need to reassure myself, too, that eventually, maybe, little by little, the rest of the world will actually catch up with what we have learned in the past 5 or 10 years, and we know to be facts. And that is, there is no science anywhere that shows that LDL, a high LDL, is going to kill anybody. There never has been any legitimate science. Nutritional science is a disaster at best. But there's no science that shows people that have 450 LDLs are dying of heart attacks any faster than anybody else. In fact, most of the science, if you really honestly look at it, shows it exactly the opposite. It's the people with the lowest LDLs that seem to be having the biggest problem. Can we blame that on the statins, maybe? I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? At any rate, need to talk about something to fill up some time here. I want to interact with you, waiting for you guys to put some questions in there. And I put in my show notes, basically. I put something to make sure I wouldn't forget to say it, and that is welcome. Welcome to the Old Guy Carnivore Daily Carbohydrate Anonymous. Welcome to our daily meeting. I'm Mitch, and I'm a carboholic. I've always been a carboholic. I will always be a carboholic. And the only way that I will not fall off the wagon, no matter how long I do this in life, is complete abstinence from carbohydrates. There is no cheating. There's no adding them back in. I've tried that so many times, and all it does is just kick me off that wagon. I land right on my ass, and it takes me months to get back up and get back on that wagon again. And in that time, I give back every gain that I managed to make over the previous, let's say, year of sticking to it. For 2.5 years now, 2.5 years, I have not had a cheat bite, not knowingly, and not anything that has triggered a craving. My cravings, for the first time in my life, are gone. Something I never, ever thought would have happened. Something that most of you out there struggle with especially if you're living with people that are in your face with this all the time. My hermit-like lifestyle really helps me. My living alone really helps me because nobody determines what food is brought into my house except me. It gives me a great advantage. Gives you all something to try to work towards somehow, because sometimes that's necessary. You cannot, if you're an alcoholic, you cannot cure your own alcoholism if you live in a house with people that are drinking morning till night in your face constantly and drag you out to the bar at night with them. It's a sad fact. This is a commitment, and you have to commit yourself to it and and say, okay, I understand I have to abstain because I'm a carbohydrate addict. And sadly, most of us are. And sadly, most of us have the same history. So we're here to try to support ourselves, accept the reality that it's not going to last the rest of your life. It might take a year, but these carb cravings, if you can do this, they get easier pretty quick, and they're going to go away, and they're going to stop hounding you. But if you don't want to eat that crap, for God's sakes, don't eat it just because somebody else says, well, you can eat that now. Know yourself and know your own level of addiction. Still hanging on a little, but much better, not as phlegmy. Tuka, super sticker, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate that. Enough family album pictures for today, I think. Let me get to you guys. Let me put my Buy Me a Coffee link in the chat because I know you can't wait to do that. Appreciate it in advance. And let's get on with it here. Gary, no slow. It's set to heat from 61 to 64. Wow, you like it colder than me. But for me, that would be way too cold. I tried it. I tried setting it at like 66. But with my thin Florida skin and low body fat, I just get cold. I don't have all that insulation. I think I'm probably sitting at around 13-14% body fat right now, which is as low as I want to get. Lizzie says good morning, and let's see, I'm going to look for some questions. Did I have anything else in my show notes that I wanted to say this morning? Well, I already touched on this. What are our main concerns about so-called dangers of eating no plants? And I still like the way Kiltsey looks at it, in that he doesn't think about carbs as a macro or protein or fat as macros. He divides it into two different food groups: animals and plants. And we've talked about that. And I think that's a great way to look at it. If you don't eat the plants, you won't get the carbs. There's some trace carbs in meat, but by and large, you're not going to find carbs in meat or any animal product unless it's milk or dairy, where there's lactose. So if you eat high-fat dairy, you're probably okay. And babies do need carbs. Yes, I think that babies need. That's why mother's milk has lactose in it. But it's pretty well-known fact that at a certain stage in early human development, milk is no longer an appropriate food for children. And babies are born in ketosis. We start out in ketosis. Ketosis is pretty much supposed to be our default metabolic state. Not 100% of the time. Not something we need to monitor or keep track of. But it is a natural state to burn fat for fuel. How do I know this? Common sense. Common sense. If fat wasn't supposed to be our de facto fuel, why would we store so much of it and prioritize storing it? Why wouldn't we store more sugar if we're supposed to be metabolizing sugar as our primary fuel, which is the state that everybody in this country is in right now, metabolizing sugar. Why do our gas tanks contain fat, not sugar? The answer is obvious. That's what we're supposed to be running on. And how does that fat get from our fat cells to every cell in the body, the trillions of them, to be metabolized in each individual cell, which is its own little factory, creates its own energy, gets its fat delivered to it every day by the little FedEx trucks that we have that we call lipoproteins? Our LDL goes up. We have to traffic the fat if we're going to run on fat, something that we don't need to do as much of when we're actually not metabolizing fat primarily, but sugar. Because sugar is water soluble. Our blood is water based. And these are things that people forget, and it's just basics. We can take energy to every cell in our body in the form of glucose by just pouring it into the bloodstream. It dissolves, and the bloodstream carries it everywhere. And we have high blood sugar, which elicits a response of insulin, which does all kinds of things. But the main job that it has is to help metabolize or turn that sugar back into fat to store it away for the long term, which is why eating sugar makes us fat and screws up our machinery by poisoning half the things it touches. Sugar, glucose molecules just glom onto things. They gum up the works. Same thing will happen to your car engine, by the way. When I was a kid, the worst thing you could do to somebody with a car was put sugar in their gas tank. Remember that? Remember that? That sugar just destroyed the engine, glommed up, caused an engine to seize. I mean, it was the worst thing you could do to somebody, would just put sugar in their gas tank. That's what we're doing to our bodies, folks. It's great. We need it. We need glucose for certain reactions. If we don't eat it, we can make it, and we can survive without a gram of it exogenously. We don't need to eat any of it. It's addictive as hell because it's survival food. All that fits together in a glorious big puzzle that has no missing pieces and all makes perfect sense. And that's where I try to come from on this channel with my message, that you don't need any of that stuff. You don't need fiber. You don't, and I'm so much better off without any of that stuff. And eventually, those bad addictive habits go away and you don't want it anymore. And that's where the real miracle of carnivore comes in. And unfortunately, it's not the instant fix that we have become so accustomed to. The magic pill, the Ozempic injection, all those things with horrendous potential side effects that just gum up and screw up our chemistry even worse and make us chronically sick with things that weren't even diseases 100 years ago. And we forget about history. We forget to look back. We forget the last generation. We forget who our great-great-great-grandparents were, if we even knew in the first place. And in our arrogance, we think we know it all, and we can outsmart it. Something that took hundreds of millions of years of trial and error to get to where it is today. And we can interfere with that and throw drugs at it. We've lost sight of the ball, folks. And we're paying the price. So no, I don't worry about my LDL anymore. I don't worry about not following deadly advice from an entire system of doctors, hospitals, drug companies, government agencies that live for the corruption and profit. There's nothing those people can tell me or do for me that I can believe in except bolt me back together when I break something. When I have an accident, okay, you got to go in, cut my head open, and remove that big blood clot or it'll kill me. Yes. Thank you, doctor. I appreciate you. You saved my life. Those 5 screws and the plate in my wrist that you put in there 6 or 7, 8 years ago aren't doing their job. Everything's mended, and you told me that that wrist is now stronger than the other wrist because of the way the bone grew around all of the metal you put in there. Thank you, doctor. You were a tremendously talented hand surgeon. And after I shattered my wrist, you put me back together, and I went to physical therapy and got full use of it again, full strength in it. And I have no residual pain, arthritis, or anything else forming around your repair like I might have had I've been eating like everybody else eats, just like the hospitals and doctors tell us. And Kiltsey, I don't know if you remember this the other morning, when he was waiting in the hospital, for his grandson to be born, there were vending machines in the hospital waiting room, vending machines. Full. Full of Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola and all the sugary drinks and Reese's peanut, look at this, Reese's peanut butter cups and, oh, excuse me, still a little phlegmy. This, my friends, is their idea of healthy living. I'm sure there were some energy drinks in there to make sure these people got their daily fix of stimulants and amphetamines and other caffeines and things like that. That, my friends, should be unconscionable. You go into a gym. My gym, which is owned by the Medicare Advantage plan, the Health First hospital chain. Before COVID, and they had to get rid of it, they had a health bar, a juice and smoothie bar in the lobby right next to where the 2 vending machines are now, full of crap. And what did they sell? In this so-called health bar where you went to the gym and worked out, and after you were done, you could treat yourself to the sugar fix of a lifetime. They could make you smoothies out of every kind of fruit and nut and banana and carbohydrate-laden, nutrient-deficient crap on the planet, and put sprinkles on top of it as well. Honest to God, you could have Skittles sprinkled into your smoothie. Or get a green smoothie where they will juice a pound of spinach for you, enough oxalates to cripple a bull elephant. Foul-tasting crap, and they will convince you to pay them $10 for it, and it will make you healthy. And the one thing you didn't find in this health restaurant that they had inside a hospital-sponsored gym was anything that even came close to looking like it came from an animal. and people just accept this. And if you tell them how wrong it is, they look at you like you got a third eye planted right in the middle of your forehead. How do I know that? Because I'm the guy that was telling them why it was so wrong. I even went to the manager of the gym, not the owner of it, but the manager of it. And I said, how the hell can you put vending machines like that out there? How the hell can you in good conscience poison the people that are coming in here to get healthy with the crap in those vending machines? And they said to me, it's not our decision. That's what people want. We have to give them what they want. The fact is, there's nothing that they can put in a vending machine. Have you ever seen a ribeye vending machine? I haven't. That's all they could sell was all they could sell in a vending machine would be bottled water. Or maybe some electrolytes that didn't have all kinds of sugar and flavoring and crap in them. But you can't even buy that anymore. Because nobody wants to drink salt water. That's what electrolytes are when you drink them without all the flavoring and crap. They're salt water. We drink it because we know it's what we need. But it doesn't satisfy our sugar addiction. It doesn't satisfy our cravings for that sweet-tasting crap that everybody is addicted to. And the reason I go off on these things and these little rabbit holes and rants about is because it all points to one thing. Addiction. I say that until I'm blue in the face. Everything points to it. It's the reason people cannot give up those foods. And if we took them away and we made them illegal and we cleared the shelves, a black market, the biggest black market on the planet Earth, would appear to supply addicts their drug of choice. The addicts are not going to live without their drug of choice, just like alcoholics did during Prohibition, just like drug addicts have done ever since that useless, expensive, destructive war on drugs started. And until we start looking, and here I am on my soapbox again, until we start looking at that addiction as the area that we need to focus on and educate people on, we don't stand a chance to fix anything, because carb addicts are going to eat carbs, even if they know that it's killing them. How many people do you know that you've talked to about carnivore? Tried to talk people out, especially older people, out of all the crap that they eat every day. Tried to convince them how destructive it is to their health, and are kind of shocked to find out that they don't care. So I'll die sooner. I don't care. I'm not giving up my Coca-Cola and my cookies. I enjoy them too much. Well, that's addiction. That's addiction. How many alcoholics know that their livers are getting shot and cirrhotic, and that they are going to be in for a very painful, miserable death? And waiting maybe for a liver transplant that will probably not come because they're too old. How many of them will stop drinking? No, I'm not giving up my booze. I don't care what happens. That's the way we are when we're addicts. And the day we finally wake up and Robert F. Kennedy stands up on the stage and says, America, the number one biggest problem we have is carbohydrate addiction, and we need to start learning more about it. Until I hear those words come out of his mouth, I hold out no hope for anybody fixing anything. Just paying lip service to it. That is my opinion. Be a lot of people out there disagree with me. My opinion doesn't make me any money, unfortunately. I got nothing to sell. I got no magic product for you. Captain America. Captain America bought me 3 coffees. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Professor Mitch, for helping me to stay with this lifestyle. Man, if I do nothing other than that, I've lived up to some purpose on this planet. So I appreciate that, Steve. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Did I miss anybody else? Jerry Voitush, Steve, Captain America, thank you, my friends. Very much appreciated. And Tuka's little super sticker, thank you, my friend. All right. Once again, I don't know if you tune in here to hear me rant about this, to hear me try to help reinforce your beliefs that you guys, my friends, people I care about. I don't care about too many people in this world, but God, I care about you guys. The Mitch Fits. I honestly value your friendship. And does my heart good if I know that something I've said, even in a rant or whatever, maybe rang a chord or rang a bell, struck a chord, and you say, you know, I never thought of it that way, but that sure makes a lot of sense. And apply that test to everything you hear. Does it make any sense? And it has to make sense when you compare it to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years of history of our species. We're still running on genetic programming that is almost virtually identical to that from 50, 100,000 years ago. Honestly, that's how long it takes for any major changes in genetics across species, especially. You have to start to accept the science of evolution, which is not a theory. It is proven. In 100 ways from Sunday, it's proven. And if it conflicts with your religion, that's something you have to come to terms with. Most very religious people who have actually looked at the science have reconciled their religious beliefs with the fact that the earth is more than 6,000 years old. I can't help people that won't listen to that. I can only tell them to go to church and listen to what their pastor says. Be happy, live a nice life, and wait for the next life. I can't change people's ideologies, but science is science, and evidence is evidence, and we have the science today and the techniques to learn tremendous amounts about things that we couldn't have known even existed 100 years ago, let alone at the level of knowledge we have. And being able to decode the human genome and actually finally read the code that our species is actually running on was one of the greatest discoveries, especially when it comes to determining each and every one of our own individual lineages, which we can do. Tuka always asks the most brilliant questions every morning. Tuka says, how do I become wise like you, boss? You're already wise, Tuka. You wouldn't be watching me if you weren't. Everybody, pat yourself on the back. You're smart because you're here. Oh, wow. Either that or I'm the greatest comedian that ever lived. I doubt that. Okay, so Kitchen Witch says that, so I commented first last night. Yeah, YouTube just screwed you right out of that, Tanya. Sorry to hear that, but glad you let me know. I like to give credit where credit is due, but didn't show up. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes, for some strange reason, when I first log into this stuff in the morning getting ready to set up for the stream, and this especially happens over there on Rumble. And on Rumble, just so I have Gary No Slows over there on Rumble, and the two Mike Seelys are both over there, and there are 10 people viewing on Rumble. Welcome, my Rumble friends. I know that we ignore you here because your chat doesn't show up intermixed in with my StreamYard because they don't have that kind of connection to Rumble yet. YouTube has a two-way connection. So anything that happens in the YouTube chat gets sent back to StreamYard, and it shows up on my stream in a place where I can put it up on the stream, just like I do when I click on it over here. Ain't it great? Ain't it great? And thank you, Jerry. Glad I'm feeling better. I am feeling better. And I'm looking for questions. And I'm, as usual, more than a half an hour behind in this particular chat. But let me glance over at the current chat right now. And since I know I'll be talking to people that are still here, let me see if I could find any questions that just came in. See the last entries talking about Tylenol. Deborah Wisegow coming in late. Grand rising, everyone. Well, welcome, Deborah. Welcome. Claudia Burkick is in there talking to Peter about sweeteners. I don't see any questions. CB Carmack, everybody's talking away, which I love to see. Peter is pontificating, talking to Claudia Burkick. Let me guess, he also eats a ton of cheese, dairy diet, sodas, and other flavored electrolytes. So, evidently, Peter's talking to CB. What is a CLOP? K-L-O-P. Watch other carnivore doctor and influencer videos about high LDL. That surprises me. They are still concerned about his LDL. Doesn't surprise me, Peter. Doesn't surprise me at all that people aren't always concerned about that, even if they... Because, again, in this world, you're going to hear different stories from different people. The key is not what you believe, it's who you believe. And we can all be wrong. I can be wrong. I was wrong once. Time I thought I was wrong, but I wasn't, but I was wrong once. I have my shirts, my disclaimers. I may be wrong, but I doubt it. But everybody can be wrong. So we all have that little nagging doubt. Everybody has doubts about everything, even the most deep-seated ideologies. How many religious people lose their faith in God when God disappoints them or doesn't deliver as expected when they pray so hard? Do they fall back on the standard? Well, he must have had his reasons. You know, they've got answers for everything. We can lose faith in everything when something that maybe we expect doesn't happen. And if people can lose faith in their own religions, something that have been with them and drummed into their heads since birth, they can certainly lose faith in a carnivore YouTuber's opinions very easily. Well, I'm not losing any weight. Evidently, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. So, yeah, Peter, each of us individually has to find that proof or evidence that makes so much common sense to us and answers every possible objection to our satisfaction. And then we will gain the confidence to look at our doctors when they say, you're going to die if you don't take this statin like right now. In fact, why don't we schedule open heart surgery for you before we go any further? And the man in the white coat with the stethoscope and the authority figure and the eminence factor tugs at something in your logical mind and says, how could he be wrong? He's been to college after all. He's a doctor. Some of the dumbest human beings I have ever met in my life were medical doctors. And I say dumb, I don't mean ignorant, I mean stupid. Lack of common sense. They are some of the worst businessmen I've ever met. Some of the worst pilots I ever tried to train. Some of the most inept human beings walking, focused on only one thing, and that was what some fool in medical school taught them who learned what he learned from the Seventh-day Adventists. And medicine these days, the practice of medicine has descended into that of a librarian with a computer screen. Well, the tests show these numbers. Let me just plug them into the computer here. And the computer says it thinks you have this particular disease. Well, that could be. And it recommends that I prescribe to you, based on your numbers and your body weight and everything, and your age and your other conditions, these 5 drugs. So let me just run over to the computer printer here where it printed out those prescriptions for you, and have a nice day. Nurse, put them down for another appointment in 30 days where we can review everything. Thank you very much. I am just practiced medicine. What a doctor I am. Polish my stethoscope right here on my white coat. They're fools unless they wake up to the reality of the fact that they are wrong about everything when it comes to diet and nutrition and the cause of chronic diseases. It's very politically incorrect for me to say that. Dangerous, according to YouTube. Something that I need to be canceled and censored just for saying it or even thinking it. Crazy world. Crazy world. So, yes, Peter, each of us has to... why are you guys talking? Maybe I shouldn't read the current chat. Peter's telling CB that Kip ignores his advice time and time again. Well, Peter, can I tell you something, my friend? I know you mean well, and I love you to death, and you know that. But why bother? Why bother? Why waste your time? If he wanted your advice, he would ask for it and still probably not follow it. Wow, I shouldn't read this. This just makes me crazy. I'm listening to Peter and CB's conversation about things that neither one of them can control. I want to... You all don't mind if I just stay out of the rest of that conversation. I'm beginning to scroll backwards here and see how it developed. I'm looking for questions. Questions that might be addressed at me. I don't see any. Wow, I'm all the way back to 10 o'clock. Holy cow, it's already 20 to 11. Yes, have you noticed the complete and total absence of nose blowing this morning? That's progress. That's progress, my friends. And Jemmett likes the picture of me and my son. Nice looking men and healthy. Yes. Yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. No wonder I don't get any questions, because Peter answers everything. Jerry, question. The Mitch-Fits need an appearance from Spanky the Monkey. You do, huh? Holy cow, why didn't you say so? Why didn't you say so? All right, let's bring Spank in here. We'll sit him over here on the table for a few minutes. Say hi, Spank. Let me give you a little happy music for Spanky. Maybe he'll move around and dance a little bit. Come on, monkey. Come on, monkey. Come on. God, you'd think the thing was dead. There he goes. There he goes. Yes. Signs of life. Thank you, Spank. Okay. We aim to please here, folks. You want it, you just ask for it, and you got it. Okay, Spank. I think everybody had enough of you. Let me put you back to bed. Say goodbye. There you go. Life After Carbs. Chris had a question. What time was this? This was at 9:55. Let me see if I can find that, go down to that question and put it up on the screen. Let me see if I can put that up on the screen. Here it is. Here it is. Life After Carbs. Any opinion on dry fasting? I read a couple of books about it, and it sounds pretty powerful for healing. I've been doing intermittent dry fasting lately. It seems more doable than expected. Chris? There aren't too many subjects on the planet that I don't have an opinion on, and dry fasting, or fasting in general, is something that I try not to overcomplicate. I try not to overcomplicate or micromanage. I try to keep it simple. I try not to have to schedule things. Well, today I fast and tomorrow I don't, and then I have a wet fast and I have a dry fast, and then I fast for 3 days, and I fast for 3 days once a month, but sometimes I fast for 7 days because so-and-so said so in their video that helps you heal, and all this other crap. And no, I don't do any of that. I don't say you shouldn't do it, and I'm not saying that any of those people who are talking about the science of it may not be right on the money. For me, I think slow and steady is the way to go. I don't want to change up everything every day. I know there's something called hormesis. I know that you need to cycle in and out of some of these different modes, cycle in and out of ketosis. But I think that when you look at the animal kingdom, most animals have settled into a routine, and only in very rare circumstances do they find their conditions change, where their eating schedule, their food source will change. They're usually pretty slow and steady, especially the animals we have in captivity. Of course, we're feeding them. But the one thing I will give credit to people in a zoo, for example, zookeepers, and the science of feeding animals is somehow, think about the irony of this, they have no trouble figuring out what the proper diet is for a lion or a tiger or a zebra or a koala bear. I mean, they have no problem. They know. The science is pretty obvious. You don't feed a lion Caesar salads. You feed a lion raw meat. You just take a look at the lion in the wild and say, well, what does this lion want to eat? Okay, well, that's a good starting point. Obviously, makes sense. Koala bear eats eucalyptus leaves. We're not feeding our koala bears in captivity Caesar salads or ribeyes. We're feeding them eucalyptus leaves. What rocket scientist figured that out? The first guy that saw a koala bear sitting up in a eucalyptus tree munching on the leaves. We can do that with every animal on the planet. We can say, well, it's obvious that this, and when you go to a zoo, they have very strict guidelines. They're all written down in manuals. Care and feeding of the Tasmanian cuckoo bird or something. And virtually every scientific piece of proof and evidence of the proper diet. And we have that. We have that for every species of every living thing on the planet except for human beings. The manual for how to feed and care for a human being is a manual of religious, inspired, frigging disaster. And yet, We can't figure out what to feed the human being with our collective brains. I marvel at the irony of that. And yet, nothing changes. We are all addicted. There's too much money. There's too much infrastructure in medical communities. And the goal only seems to get more and more people on more and more lifetime treatments so they can fill up beds in more and more hospitals that are being built every day, more and more nursing homes that are being built every day, more and more dialysis wards that are being bragged about on the morning news. So-and-so hospital just doubled the size of its dialysis ward. What a great thing. How great is it that twice as many people now need kidney dialysis as they did 5 years ago? In what reality is that a great thing? Wouldn't it be much better to see a news article on the morning news that says, so-and-so hospital, not needing their dialysis wards anymore, have turned them into children's playgrounds instead? That is progress, my friends. And if they could blow those hospitals off the face of the earth and build beautiful parks with pretty trees and dog walking paths, we'd be way ahead of the game, believe me. But no, bigger medical centers, more and more doctors being taught more and more crap to plug into this thing that's like the Matrix now. Artificially intelligent driven, computer controlled. Plug your ass into the Matrix, people. Whatever slop you need will be, believe me, just delivered to you by that tube that's plugged into the back of your neck. Pleasant dreams. It is a scary reality, and I see nothing being done save for one old fart on YouTube every morning trying to focus people on what is the real root of our problem and how it got this way. I'm not the only human being that knows that, but I'm one of the few that isn't capitalizing on it. I don't have a line of very expensive supplements for you to buy. I don't have sponsors on this channel that pay me tremendous amounts of money to sell you all this crap that I don't believe in. I just know what the problem is, and I'm doing the best I can to bring attention to it. And at least there's 150 or so people out there that I think accept it and understand it. Any questions for me? Any questions for me? Jerry Voitush, the Mitch Fits need an appearance from Spanky. Okay, did that. So let's go down and see if I missed any questions. Please, if you got a question, put a QQQ in front of it. Don't see any. Don't see any. I'm at 10:05. Wow, still way behind. Let me look back at the bottom of the chat here and see what's, because you're chatting away, my friends. You're just chatting away. You're just chatting away. What's for dinner tonight? Asked Greg. Tonight I am probably going to have a pound or a pound and a half of ground beef, following up on my bacon and eggs that I'm going to have as soon as we're done here. And Jemmet is reassuring Peter. Jemmet says, Peter, it is okay to try and help others even if they don't listen. I help people all the time and no thanks. And they do what they want. Your heart's in the right place. Peter, I understand your heart's in the right place. Yes, sir. I understand. I can't help everybody. You can't help everybody. Don't try so hard. Don't try to have every answer for everybody. There's two things going on there, Peter. Number one, there's two people on this planet that I'm convinced don't know everything. You're one of them, and I'm the other. Learn, like I try to do, where you shouldn't answer. Either because you don't know the answer, or you may create some harm, which you have to always try not to do. All I can do is provide this forum for all of us. Open the chat up. Anybody who wants to can pontificate in that chat. I don't discourage it, but I do say none of us, especially me, is the final authority on everything. Sometimes knowing that about yourself is the most valuable lesson you'll ever learn in life. And just be careful, whoever's answering these questions, you don't expose me to some potential liability legally, because that'd end it all. That'd be it. Sherry Morgan. Hi, Sherry. How you doing? I see you're in the chat. Good to see you out there in California. Hope you're doing well. Talking to Lori and I honestly hate to see this so much chat devoted to Carnivore Kip. I'm sure he's a very nice guy. Sure, he's a very nice guy. Bill Cook says, question, who uses phone to type in the chat? Me. He waves. I think a lot of people, so many people use their phone, but use voice typing. That's the only way that someone could actually put out as much stuff during the course of one live stream. Because nobody can type that fast. Nobody can type that fast. At any rate, stop worrying about. Lori, yeah, busted on me. Lori says, if you want it, just ask for it, and 30 minutes later you'll get it. Kidding, Mitch, just busting. Yeah. I can't think of a better way to do this, other than to have, and I tried it and it doesn't work, a moderator. It doesn't work. Tried it twice. I know I've had a lot of people volunteer to be moderators. They want that wrench. No. No more wrenches. No more wrenches. I would love to have somebody like Alia, like Kiltsy's got, to aggregate the questions and keep up on top of this stuff. But what I don't want, if it hasn't become obvious, is to have anybody answering questions directed at me before I get a chance to answer them. I don't want that. That is not why I do this. I don't do this to make anyone a superstar in the carnivore community. Anyone, including myself, especially myself. I do not want to be a superstar. So, Ellen is the moderator on this channel. When she can come and be in the chat, that's fine. I like Ellen. I respect her. I would not take that away from her unless she asked me to. Like the first person that I made a moderator who will remain nameless. But yes, I could keep up with the questions much better if I did have somebody that I knew I could count on and yet not pay. I can't pay anybody to work for me on this channel and make sure I get to the questions. So the way I do it is the way I have to do it. The way I have to do it. And it's not so bad. I try to make it entertaining, and somehow still have 135 people here after an hour and a half this morning, and we're going to get to the end of this. CB Carmack says, question, how awesome is it seeing a 16-year-old boy last night on a live asking if he's too young to start carnivore? That is awesome. That is very, very encouraging. Very encouraging. Very encouraging. And I see Brooke, Spiritual Nomad, talking about the natural red light therapy clinic the other day, confirmed, in fact. I do have fibromyalgia, and they ordered a $32,000 treatment to eradicate it. Carnivore's helping, so I'm just going to give it time. Did you know that fibromyalgia is not even a disease? Brooke, as far as I remember. Of course, when my ex-wife was having every kind of thing wrong with her known to man because she screwed her life up with cosmetic surgery gone wrong and ruined her immune system completely. Just another little soiree with the medical community that I've had that have ruined many aspects of my life. I learned a lot about fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is, you know what the name idiopathy is? Idiopathy, an idiopathic diagnosis means we don't know what the hell it is. So let's just create a construct of symptoms and give it a name. I don't think they have any clue what fibromyalgia is. You know what it means? It means nerve pain. That's what it means. So I'd be careful, Brooke. I'd be careful about what you let them do to you, thinking that they're curing something they don't even understand and kind of made up as a catch-all for a bunch of symptoms that they have no idea. Just stick to the carnivore. I think you're better. The carnivore diet has a better chance of fixing that kind of thing, although I can't guarantee it. I'm not a doctor and don't give medical advice. At any rate, my friends, it's 11 o'clock. I think you've had enough of me for today. Spiritual Nomad question. It's when they can't figure it out what it is. Yes, you got it. You absolutely got it. They give names to these things. Spiritual Nomad, I'm not doing it. I'm letting carnivore. My mom always said a fool and their money soon parted. So far much better. Yeah, you can buy a hell of a lot of ribeyes for 32 grand, I'm telling you. That's crazy. That's crazy. But they never cease to disappoint me when I think they're doing the wrong thing. I can always count on them to be right there. Be right there with the wrong solution. And another drug. Just another drug. Just another drug. All right, my friends, I think I've gotten through all the questions. Take a little time. Say goodbye to each other. Enjoy the happy music. I will finish my coffee. Turn off my coffee warmer. Yes. And get ready to enjoy my bacon and eggs and then some nice sunshine today. I haven't heard any plumbers making noise yet. I wonder if they're even here. That'll be my first stop when this is over, to go and check and see if they actually showed up today. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming in here and putting up with me and listening to me rant and rave about everything. I hope we all got something out of this. Maybe walk away from it a little more sure that what we're doing is the right thing. I never really did answer that question about the fasting. I don't fast. I don't feel the need to fast. Maybe there is a reason that you might want to fast. But I intermittent fast every day, and for me that seems to be working just fine. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, it might be helpful tomorrow if you come in here, and I'll be here tomorrow morning, 7 days a week, like clockwork. Try to get your questions in real early. Write them down beforehand, and just put them all in the chat, and I'll get to them, and then chat away if you like. But at least that way I won't get so far behind in the questions. And with that, my friends, let's call it a day. Let's call it Saturday. Okay, good name. Most of you have the day off anyway, but in case you don't, my friends, have a great one. Have a great one. If it's sunny where you are, get out and enjoy the sunshine. You're doing the right thing. I tell you that because I think I'm doing the right thing. And all I do is to tell you to do the things that I do. No magic, no hocus pocus, just basics. Basics. You know what my call, I talked about it yesterday, my call to action. The one thing you need to just take away from this are the last two words I say in every stream, every video that I make. And that is, after I give you the rest of the day off, I say, eat meat.